Hey guys, it's Christina. This is Vox and Guest, and I am here with the trickiest of trick shots. We got Dave and Ian from Trick Shot in Australia. Say good day, fellas.
Good day, mate.
I had to be so American, didn't I? It was like, now I feel like I have to like barbecue a bald eagle or something just to get it to stereotype.
Re-Americanize you. Mm.
Yeah, it's like my dad's a bald eagle and my mom's a Big Mac, so I'm like full-blooded American. But Dave and Ian, I'm so happy to have you guys here. I have been chatting with you guys in DMs for months just about band stuff and band together stuff and fun stuff and whatever. And it is so nice to actually see your lovely shining faces here and get a chance to introduce anyone who does not already know about Trick Shot to Trick Shot. So let you two say hello in whatever fashion you choose and let everybody know what you do in the band, which is a lot. And then we can go from there.
You go first, Ian.
I'm Ian, vocalist and guitar player, producer. What else do I do? Next album,
gig night drinker.
Drinker.
Lover, partier.
I better stop there.
Beard architect and maestro.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like that. Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't happen by accident. That level of gorgeousness does not happen by accident. So, all right, so that's what Ian does. All right, Dave, we got you. We got another. Your beard is a more of a
in process.
It's a little shyer, but it's refined, and I appreciate that as well. So,
thank you very much.
Besides having another awesome beard, what else do you do in the band?
Yeah, I well, at least for Magic Bullet, I'm the primary songwriter, and I play bass by accident. Stumbled onto the bass position. I am Ian's gig day taxi driver. I put out his beer ticket so he can be well lubricated for the show.
That's important. Proper lubrication is important. It is. It really.
Everyone wins a prize gig day. That's right. Admin. I am the admin team.
That's it.
Ian is the production man. I'm the admin man.
Look at that. And then we do not have him here, but you guys want to talk a little bit about the drums?
Yeah.
5 weeks.
The luckiest man in the planet.
Yeah.
With our newsletter, we'll just reference it that he was in the band 5 weeks before the news dropped on his lap.
Yep,
5-week gig, and look at him go.
Should be playing the lottery with that sense of timing. So so we have Dave P, who you will find on their website, but not here in the little boxes. But Trick Shot has been from the beginning really about you two, Dave and Ian. So I'm glad that you guys are here. But listen, I know we're buddies, and so you might think that because of that, I'm going to go easy on you two.
Oh.
I'm not. You may know that I begin each episode with, I don't want to call it intimidating, but a terrifying, in-depth, serious, meaningful, sociologically relevant question. Some have cried.
Really?
Curses have been said. Things have been thrown. Bald eagles ripped from the sky. There's been a lot. But so here it is. Are you ready? You guys, yes. I want you to answer honestly. Don't hold back. If you get emotional, we're here for you. This is a community.
Support.
That's what family does. Okay. You ready?
Yep.
For each of you, do you put your socks on first or do you put your pants on first?
Ooh.
I told you.
Procedural.
Pants. It's pants for me. Because
pants.
I spend a lot of
Did you say pants me? Like, I can't pants you from here. You'd have to get closer. Okay, so you are a pants first.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me why. Why pants first?
Because I just like to walk around the house a lot, and the neighbours next door have just built a 2-story place so they can look straight down. And
so even if he didn't, he has to now.
You don't want to. It's not something you want to see every morning.
Or any morning necessarily, depending on your neighbors. But okay, yes, right. So you like to contain the dragon immediately, right. And then the snake, the socks come afterwards. I got you. Okay, all right.
Yeah. It's only
you
for
have
select
privacy that allows you a flexibility in clothing order, or are you also a pants first guy?
Well, I'm completely derived by the fact that I'm fairly rotund around the middle.
Okay.
And bending over to do things like socks and my pensioner shoes that always have Velcro. Yes, Ian, they all do.
You are a dad,
I have
man.
to do.
You have to. So yeah.
It's true. I have to go pants first too.
Okay. I'm trying to figure out how that gets you around the bending for the sockage, because it does have to happen.
Doesn't. That's why I have. Because then you're not breath for, and when I get out of breath, it's really bad. But you just gotta
At that
do
point,
what's
at least
good.
you already have pants on. I see. Okay.
Yeah,
so
and if I fall over and they need to call an ambulance.
Yeah, no, that makes sense, because then you are sockless with pants rather than just full Winnie the Pooh, like shirt and socks. All right, I got you.
There ain't no honey there, I can tell you.
Hey, we'll see. Okay, so now you could, just to mix it up one day in my honor, put one sock on, then your pants, and then the other sock. You could just go, or one pant leg and one, I'm an American. We believe in options. I'm giving you, this is the dream
absolutely.
that I mean, really.
Is that something we're going to have to get used to come to America? When you're lining up at customs to go, well, show us how you put your socks on. And we go, well, we've had the tip. Actually, 1, 2, 3.
This is the questions I ask for this show are derived directly from the U.S. Customs entry.
We need to know these things.
Yeah.
Good.
That's it. That's why you have to know whether cereal is technically soup or not, or whatever. These are all So okay, I have to think a large part of what holds this band together is the fact that you guys are pants first. But I gotta think there's other stuff too. So take me in the way back machine to this year when Trick Shot formed. But you guys, I want to find out though first, how did each of you get into music in the first place? Because you are clearly fresh-faced young gentlemen. It can only have been a matter of moments since you picked up an instrument. But how did you guys start your journey that brought you to this very moment of glory?
You have a more impressive story.
You go, Dave.
Oh, you want me to go first? All right, okay. Speaking of Bald Eagles, Customs, all the great things American, the first band that I remember being really little, Chaka, that my older sister was into was Kiss.
That explains a lot. Okay.
It does. But then, going through childhood, kind of like went back into the cartoony era and being, wild and fancy free. And it wasn't until Bon Jovi came along I thought, I want to do that.
Okay.
Living on a Prayer. I wanted Dead or Alive. And it was the first album I spent my own pesos on. Okay. And my mother, bless her cotton socks, she always said, you just want to pick up a guitar and play like Bon Jovi. And it was all like, well, yes. Obviously, right, I can't. Right. So I need some lessons, and I maybe need a guitar too.
That would help, yeah.
Yeah, it would have helped. But no, Dad came through with that one, and, it's just been ever since. Yeah, I haven't really... I know you are a wonderful cover artist and love playing covers and stuff. I know 3. I've written all my songs my whole career.
3.
Oh, 6 maybe. Not many, we'll say. So that's how I got into music, was just through listening and osmosis. I sing songs and lyrics that aren't there, make stuff up. I'll be just annoying my whole family with my musical knowledge, and it's great. I love it.
So you heard Bon Jovi. That was the aha moment. You got your guitar. Did you get your lessons?
No, I actually didn't. I think I've learned more theory from this guy in 6 months than I ever known in my 40 years of playing guitar.
And now, did you get, because you mentioned, obviously you're playing bass for the band, so I'm assuming you didn't start by listening to Bon Jovi and going, I want to play bass like
Alex
Bon
John
Jovi.
such
Most,
places.
most people don't.
No.
So talk to me about how you got not an unusual transition from guitar to bass or the other way around, but like where did that all happen, and how did you accidentally become a bass player?
Yeah, it was accidentally. It actually was. It was old mate Carl Dover. Our mate Carl Dover, he started shouting out for musicians locally, and I just thought, oh, well, I'm a guitarist. Everyone says it's an easy transition. I never picked up a bass at this point, but I answered the ad and got in, and then met Ian through the band, and then birthed Trick Shot from there.
Okay, I did not know there was a Dover connection there. I did not know that.
The White Wells of Dover.
Okay, so then before you accidentally fell into a bass, did you play in bands at any point?
Oh, yes.
As a guitar?
Yes.
Okay, so take me through. I'm gonna take it out.
We're going way back in the time machine.
Yeah, because
cool.
really, like you can't be in music for 40 years and tell me about the first moment you decided, and then right now. There's a whole.
Now we go into the meat and potatoes.
Let's get into the middle. The middle is usually where the good stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So, I have to cover all this story with. I used to have such a fear of getting up on stage and stuffing up, forgetting words, just looking like an asshat, basically. That for a long time I didn't do it, or B could only do it like by myself. I know do it at. Oh, that sounds bad. Play acoustically solo, solo style.
Now that sounds bad.
But it wasn't really me, I've always wanted to be in a band, and then like in about 2018, I want to say, I actually stuck my head up and I said, so this is like, I had massive health problems from about 2002 till then that kind of also helped not get me out to the scene. But when I did, stuck my head up, found a drummer, and called ourselves Midnight Kiss, as he used to do.
Okay.
Strange man he was. But anyway, then that kind of morphed to a few things, like another band formed from that. And then I've only ever been like 4 bands,
right?
Proper bands, and in my journey. But the passion's obviously always been there. The desire's always been there, and I've just picked up know-how along the way with the admin stuff. Like I'm a white collar grub, aren't I, Ian?
Yeah, right. That's right.
But what I do, admin, and so music.
Okay.
I'm still pretty green, I feel, anyway, but I'm out there and I love it.
Musically, in terms of being out and playing and being on stage and then playing bass, but I mean, whether you're playing in your house and nobody else is listening or whatever, if you're playing around for 40 years, one would hope, and thankfully, from what I've heard, it is supported in fact that what you're doing at this point on your instrument. So, okay. So Ian, did you take a similarly circuitous route, or were you a little, what was baby Ian's gateway? What was the music start, and then where'd we go from there?
I'm originally born in England, and came out to Australia in 1982. And when we lived in England, I was heavily into Adam and the Ants.
Okay.
And I used to steal my mum's lipstick and put the cross there and the 2 down here. And myself and a couple of the lads from the neighbourhood would run around Chelmsford, where I lived, and just graffiti with mum's lipstick. I'm sure she hates me for that.
Lipstick is expensive, dude.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
that's why I don't wear it. Yeah.
So we used to just run around that. And then when I moved to Australia, I still had the Adam and the Ants, but it was never really that big over here when I landed. Okay. So we just went through I think I was about 9 at school, and everyone was, it was all Choose Life, 1985, George Michael and all that kind of rubbish then. And I moved to Adelaide.
George Michael.
I'm not a mad. He's great.
Well, compared to Adam and the Ant.
Yeah.
Well, it's a very different vibe. Yes, I can recognize that. So okay.
We moved to Adelaide in about 1984, 85. And one of my friends at primary school, I went around his house after school, and his dad was playing music, and I was like, walked in, and I was like, what is this? And he goes, oh, you need to listen to this. And he handed me this tape, and it was Iron Maiden's Power Slave.
Ah.
And that was it.
So similar to George Michael, but not
no
I.
way.
Don't feel.
So close, just so close, just a couple ass shakes away. It's okay. All right. So, and your head must have exploded at that point.
Yeah, I did. That album changed my life. I heard that guitar and I was just like, what is this? And then probably about, I would say 2 or 3 years later, I was at school and they would, it was time for you to choose, your subjects. And I chose music for some reason. I don't know why.
Okay.
And I wanted to play sax. Originally wanted to play saxophone. And we went to the school open day and they said, oh, here's a saxophone and this is $2,500. And Mum just looked at me and went, nah, you can play guitar. Here's $100 acoustic guitar.
Good on, Mum. Good on.
And that's where it came from. And I just fell in love with the guitar.
So it was a blessing that Mom was, one could either say cheap or incredibly smart, because incredibly holy shit, that's a lot of money. Yeah. It's so funny to me how many of us, like, our music careers were dictated by like what instrument either there weren't already too many of in band or the one you could afford. I remember being like, I'm going to play flute in the band. And like every single girl in front of me was like, I want to play flute. I want to play flute. And I got to me and they were like, you're playing clarinet. And I was like, shit, I should have sat over there, but but I think Mom did right by you.
Yeah, she did.
As sexy as you are, Ian, I think the guitar is a natural fit. So, and then once you realized that was it, you immediately fell in love with it?
Yeah, I did. I fell on to the detriment of my schoolwork. Pretty much. Yeah, I got 19 out of 20 for music every year, and 10 out of 20 for every other subject.
Okay.
See,
I'm not mad at you.
Get degrees, man.
Yeah, I'm not mad at you. That's okay, because you didn't end up becoming like a physicist or something like So you went with the right thing. So so you fell in love. You started playing guitar. What about bands? Did you originals, cover bands, anything?
No, originally, the first band I was in with a mate of mine, Paul. We were called Titan, as in Titan, the God Titan, and that we wrote.
I didn't think as in like a screw. Yeah, I got you, Titan. Yeah. That's a pretty badass name. So, what kind of band was that?
It was just like a sort of a Deep Purple kind of guitar heavy. We wrote a song called Jack the Ripper. Well, he wrote it anyway. Jack the Ripper, thrash, things like we were heavily into tritones, E to B flat, a lot of early heavy metal kind of progressions.
So it was mostly stuff you wanted to play on the lawn for ladies. Yeah.
Totally.
That's totally that Wonderwall, like surefire winners. But okay, I got you. All right, so you knew right away. You had heard Maiden and you were done, and you were just going full throttle with it. Okay.
And then after school, I went to study jazz at uni for a couple of years.
Oh, cool.
And then sort of fell in like had a jazz trio, like just upright double bass player, drums, and me on guitar. And then
you have to know what you're doing there. You can't. A lot of people will shit on jazz, but you cannot play jazz and not be a good musician, unless you play really bad jazz, I suppose. But usually that's I always respect jazz backgrounds. Yeah. Okay. So you finished that.
And then fell into the cover scene for about 20 odd years, playing covers around Adelaide in a band called Agent 99. Same usual, just Pat Benatar.
I'm familiar. Black Crows and Zeppelin.
Even that's the problem. No, it's like really, but it's like Jesse's Girl.
That horrible song.
My last band played that one too, so I'm right there. I think you do get sort of a standard issue of cover songs if you're going to be playing in a bar. So you have to throw in Brandy or American Band, although maybe not there, but here at least you do. But we're an Australian band, would not make that much sense. So and then you escaped the clutches of the cover band scene.
And that well, I think because I've been doing it for a while. Then Carl Dover, it's about probably 2017 when I hooked up with him, And we just sort of sat in my shed and played his originals.
Okay.
There was never anything. I thought it was never going to go anywhere, and I was like, oh, it's just a bit of fun. And then it sort of picked up, and then I met Dave, and I was like, I'm starting to enjoy this. And then Dave said, would you like to get together and do something, as us?
Let's
I've got some songs, and I was like, yeah. And I'm really glad I did, because this is where we are now.
Yeah.
And it's the cover scene.
New surfer.
I do enjoy it.
He's in New South.
I shit on it as much as possible, but I do enjoy doing it. But originals is so much more fun.
It's funny. I think as a primarily cover band person for my whole life, it is. There are definitely pluses and minuses to both, but I when you find an originals project that lights you up, I think it's hard to compete with that. I think it's really hard to compete with that. So I don't even think of it as you shitting on it. It's just sort of, you found the thing that lights you up more, and there's nothing wrong with that. I've been in cover bands where I'm just like, if I have to sing this fucking song one more time, like I can't. And it gives you such an appreciation for like the people who've been touring for 30, 40 years, like the Stones. How the fuck does Mick Jagger get up on stage and not just want to throttle everybody all the time when he has to pull out the stuff that he's been singing, since the earth cooled? So you guys clearly have had a lot of time to figure out what you're doing, to figure out what you want to be doing and what you don't want to be doing, which I think as a musician, knowing what you don't want to be doing is at least as important because it definitely really informs your choices. Yeah. So, and I mean, I love, and we're going to play a song for everybody in just a minute, but I love, in addition to the music, that everything about Trick Shot is just infused with humor. And a wink and a nod and a smile. And it is so nice to talk to musicians who don't take it so deadly seriously that, and again, like I'm fortunate in that way because on this show, everyone I've talked to, even when they are incredibly serious about their music, they have things in perspective. They're all really nice people, whatever. But like, I've worked with musicians in the past where it's like, if they miss a note on a solo, it's like, they're looking for a gallows, it's like, it's the end of the world, and you can't, music is supposed to be fun while a lot of work above everything else. And so I never really understand that. But you guys, even in the description of your band, I was giggling from the very beginning of it, that you guys are, like Adelaide's favorite dad band. And, you came out of the shadows of all the 80s, hair metal and big guitar and all that. And it's true. And I mean, more than anything, the word that comes to mind when I think of your music is just, I was going to say a fuck ton of fun, but that's more than one word, but it's fun. It's so much fun. It's like, you absolutely can. It is just booty shaking. It makes you smile. And I mean, especially for anybody who's a fan of like the big arena rock 80s bands, it's such a nice, and I mean throwback in the best way. It sounds very modern. It's not dated. It's not retro, but it's a callback anyway, at least to all of the, I hear Poison in what you guys do. I hear some 50s doo-wop chord progression elements in there. I hear like 60s stuff. I hear all kinds of, and Elvis Costello and then Belinda Carlisle and pop, like it's all over and then Soundgarden and like so I mean that's for Take My Breath and just in the intro, but I still heard it. But I mean like, and we'll talk about all of that. But so I mean, for people who watch the show religiously or agnostically, whatever, but for people who watch the show a lot, you guys are a very different kind of band. The music is very different. The vibe is very different. I think that's tremendous. And I know a lot of people already know of you, but not as many as should, guys. You have to help them out with their Facebook page and their Spotify. Everyone who's watching, go like them, follow them, because they just had to restart a new page and now they're back, from the beginning, from over 1,000. They're rebuilding. So please,
back
while
to the
you're
80s
watching,
again.
That's it. Love them up because we got to get Trick Shot Official up and running. But so before we go any further, having described the joygasm that is Trick Shot's music, I feel like we should. You can quote whatever you want. It's all you can even take fucking clips of this and put it on your website when it comes out. That's fine. But but I mean, we should let everybody hear it. So we will need to sidestep just a little bit before song because everyone is in the chat going song. But you guys, this song that we're going to play, We Got the Night, has a bit of a history to it. So do you want to briefly say something about it and then we can get into the history after? What do you think?
I might do it that way. Yeah.
I love how I posited that as a question of options with just one choice, but there you
go. We kind of knew where we were being corralled. Let's put it that way.
There you go. I'm like, do you want to do it exactly the way that I just told you to, or yes?
Like
now you see what it's like being married to me, but no. But okay, so give us a little bit of what everyone's going to see with We Got the Night, and then we can talk about the journey that this song has taken and is taking. After we come back.
You do the live version, Ian. That's the best.
You do the intro. I'll do the fill-in story.
Oh, okay. So this is our lead single through our record label, Thoroughbred Music. Our song, We Got the Night. Basically, a song about just enjoying yourself again, being positive, having a good time, and loving life. I hope you enjoy.
All right, look at that. He's selling it. You're selling it. Dave, you hussy. You just sold it all. Look at you. All right, guys, seriously, this has blown up and for good reason. Just sit back, get your lighters out, throw your hands up in the air, and enjoy Trick Shot's We Got the Night.
Come on.
I mean, really, when I talk about hands in the air arena rock, like that's it, right? It's the whole thing. It's just, you guys, you get that vibe so well. It's just it's cool to hear a band doing that kind of music now where it doesn't feel like a parody. You know what I mean? Like you're embodying it. It's definitely what you do, but because there's that wink, we get to treat it not as a guilty pleasure, but just as a pleasure, And I love that because nobody's making music like this anymore, really. They're not, it's like people think it's too cheesy to be 80s, which is fucking bullshit, or they they're afraid of like the anthemic rock kind of thing. And I mean, anthem is definitely a word that kept coming to mind with that song, so
look at us go.
Let's fill everybody in a little bit, because you guys have had some huge news recently, like really huge news, which congratulations.
Just a little bit. Thank you.
And it has sort of framed all of this going forward in this song and whatever. So let you get into the big news and then how it factors into this song and the choice and the story of We Got the Night from where it began to where it is now.
Well, we got, basically in a nutshell, we've been signed to an independent record label in England called Thoroughbred Music, who heard the second single on the radio over
independently released second single, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's independently released single. And
which one was that?
That's
Nothing I'd Rather Do.
Okay. I wasn't sure how far back we were talking. Okay, so it's of the new ones. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. And I think Adrian heard that and somehow got in contact with us. I think through our
Facebook message, our old Facebook messages. They just said we need to have a chat. Okay.
Yeah. And we were like, well, this can't be real.
I know, is the spam or whatever. Hey, fam, we want to sign you to our organic label or whatever. Yeah, exactly.
Then you due diligence.
Those phone calls from you see on those 80s films where Eddie Van Halen would ring someone and be like, this isn't Eddie Van Halen. Who is this? And we're like,
but it really was Thoroughbred.
It really was.
The label.
Yeah, it really
so
was.
Okay. So you responded, and what was the magical process there?
Oh my God, there was no real magic. It was like so quick. It was like, we want you. Do you want to sign? Okay, here's sign this. Dave's in there for 5 weeks. He goes, I'm the luckiest man alive. I said, yes, you are.
Does he take all the credit for it? He's like, see, 5 weeks after I came into the band, we got signed. It's me. Yeah, I'm the magic bullet. That's it. There you go. Tying it all together. There we go. Title of the album. There you go. Okay, so congratulations, first of all, first and foremost. That's a really big deal to be signed, and good on you, Thoroughbred, for recognizing Trickshot's talent when you heard it. And now the reason that we played We Got the Night, even though it's not the newest song of yours, is
because once we signed up, Adrian, the owner, we want to re-release. We basically went back to the original edits of the tracks and had them remastered by their guy Steve.
Cool.
Who did a fantastic job.
So good.
And said, would you like to, we'll re-release everything under our banner as part of the record label. And Adrian, we did a little listening party over Zoom. Yeah. And he said, I really like this song here, We Got the Night. It's got a great chorus and a little guitar solo, and it's got everything. Let's go with that one. Which
little guitar solo, a little one, just a little one. Yeah, just a little one. Okay, so they wanted to make this sort of the
it was basically their choice.
The initial which was our sort of thinking as well when we sort of released it. We didn't want to release the big stadium hit, Nothing I'd Rather Do, Want to Love Me Too kind of song. We thought we'd go.
You want to work up to that, yeah. It's smart. Well, but also I think, We Got the Night is such a because it is anthemic and because it is, you know, lighters in the air, arena rock. Like it's just, it makes you feel good. It makes you happy, you know, and it's, you know, in that same way as that, oh, what is that? Here's to the Night. Do you guys know that song? Here's to the nights we felt alive, something like that. There's another song that's, it doesn't sound like it, but it has that same sort of like, oh, you know, it's nostalgic, but it's modern and it brings you back, but it keeps you here. And it, you know, like, so it's like, I think it's a smart choice all around, because no matter what era you grew up in, it's the kind of musical nostalgia that you can connect to. You know, everybody's had those driving around in the car, you're young, you know, you got the music on and the windows down and you're with your friends or your loved one or whatever. Everybody's got that memory somewhere, you know, and that kind of feeling, and it's easy to connect to, you know, it's not not making people work to like the song. It's just it's gimme, you know, that and so I think it's a great single to come back on, especially considering where you guys are going, because your sound it's changed over time, you know, which is funny to me because over time is since like February.
January, exactly.
I mean, it's not a long time that we're talking about, you know, over the course of the last 8-9 months, it's changed a lot, but it has, because when in prepping for this interview, you know, when I went on Spotify, you've got the newer stuff out, you know, you've got Wanna Love Me Too, you've got Nothing I'd Rather Do, that's right there front and center. You know, we hear about Magic Bullet. It will be coming. And I know, guys, if you go on the social media, you'll see references to June. They didn't forget. You didn't miss anything. The album, obviously, with signing with the label, things timing has changed and all that.
Shifts.
So, yeah, it's coming. It's coming. They're just making us beg for it. That's what it is. They're making us beg. That's how they like it. That's it. That's it.
That's right.
But I mean, so, you know, I did a little digging and I found We Got the Night, and I found 3 others as well. That, you know, and it was cool to find those, because clearly the feel of Magic Bullet it's very specific to, you've refined where you want your sound to go. You've definitely got this party arena rock, feel good, you know, callback 80s metal, but modern twist, even with some 50s, 60s thrown in there, kind of universal, like cross-generational, cross-genre kind of stuff, right? And it's
keep going, please.
Okay. But what I loved too was going back all the way back to, you know, the Trick Shot EP, which came out, as I said, February of this year. You've got 4 songs on there that are pretty different from the 2 that we've heard so far from Magic Bullet, and dare I say, actually pretty different from each other too. And
there's a reason for that.
Okay, well, let me pause, since, you know, it's your interview, but I was going to do all the talking. But that's fine, you know. But no. But tell me the reason for that, because I rather than guessing or hypothesizing, I'd rather hear it from the horses. So tell me what that's about. Like, what was the plan for the EP?
Okay, so the EP was the genesis point of us deciding to do this really seriously. What we did is we said to each other, well, because I bought We Got the Night and Cross the Line, the other song off of the EP that have made it onto the Magic Bullet album.
Oh, okay. So Cross the Line's going to be on there too. Okay.
Yeah, Cross the Line will be on there. Yes, that's true. Do we re-record that properly?
A slightly different version,
Yeah.
Did you sang?
Yes, I did sing it, and therefore it should never be heard again.
Fun.
We wanted to push something out pretty quickly, and Ian said, I got these 2 tracks, I really want to get them out. And so we basically said, I'll do 2, you do 2, and that's probably going to be more close to the sound of album 2.
Okay.
That we're going to like, because Magic Bullet, like, I just wrote in a 3-week period.
Right.
It just like came to bang, boom.
Yeah.
Like, apart from the 2 tracks.
And that was it. Yeah, very impressive.
Yeah. And but like you said about the feeling behind it, I always like being a positive person by traits. I wanted to convey that in the songs. I wanted people to remember what it was like to be alive, to feel fun, to have all the joys back in their life. Because been sucked out down here. I don't know what it's like where you are, but people are seriously dead inside.
Like a Slurpee through a crazy straw. Absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
And I really wanted to give them just that hope. You know, like you put the album on, if you like listening to the whole thing all the way through, you go from the start of the first song and the end of the last song, you go, wow, my life was actually better for that period of time. It could be a song, it could be the whole album, but my life was just improved. That was my modus operandi.
No, and it works because you can't be in a bad mood while you're listening to Trick Shot. You can't do it. It's like trying to keep your eyes open while you sneeze. You can't do it. It's just not physically possible. But I appreciate that so much because we need it.
Yes.
We need that. Everything is just so fucking awful all the time. Like,
is it really?
There's never any good news. There's never anything positive. Everything's always bursting into flames or dying or melting or whatever. It's just it's like living in the zombie apocalypse at this point. And then you're in the abandoned supermarket with your sawed-off shotgun and your, blood smeared on your face to hide from the ghouls, and you tune in a little radio in the supermarket, and Trick Shot comes on, and you're all like, So like we need that. We need that. We need and it really, what I think is the most enjoyable element of all of it. And again, I'm sticking with this joygasm thing because to me that's what it is. It really is that it's genuine.
Yes.
Like, it's genuine. Yeah. You guys are not trying to capture a feel of a thing from 40 years ago that isn't you can feel that you guys love what you're making. You can feel that you guys love what you're doing, and you can feel the love for the genre and the time period. It's respectful homage. But again, it doesn't sound dated to me. It sounds timeless to me in the way that I do hear 50s doo-wop in chord progressions and even in some of the melody lines and the rhythms, and I do hear all that just destroy the ozone layer with your can of hairspray, wear your rubber bracelet 80s guitar solos where you're just melting the speakers and I hear and then I do hear some poppy elements, and I do hear some harder rock elements in different things, especially on the EP. But I love a band that has a thought, can live that music authentically, and then just gift it to us. It's so you are not, and I don't mean this in the sense that the music is simply, you're not challenging us. You're not daring us to listen to you. You're not daring us to like you. You're letting us into a feeling that you have that you want us all to remember. And I love that because it translates so clearly. It really does. And it made me smile. And life lately has been such that we haven't been smiling a lot around here. So I really am especially grateful to you guys personally that I had that. But I got to tell you, one of my favorite, if not my favorite, of the 6 songs of yours that I've heard so far. Actually, I want to see, can you guess what you think I might be about to say?
6 of them. Well.
So we're talking Wanna Love Me Too, Nothing I'd Rather Do, which sounds like a lyric in itself. We've got The Night, Is It My Fault, Cross the Line, and Take My Breath. Those are the 6 that I heard. So of those 6, what do you think my favorite might be?
That's an interesting.
You don't get it.
I'd like to say Take My Breath.
Okay. Okay, I'm not answering yet. Dave, what do you think?
I'm going to say Nothing I'd Rather Do.
Okay, you're both wrong.
Oh, hey, there we go.
And now I'm not going to tell you. Thank you. Good night, everybody. We're done. No, I'm kidding.
Good night, Cleveland.
No, you know what? And again, with the caveat that I like them all, but my favorite song was Is It My Fault?
Oh, nice.
go.
And I loved it because it is so fucking catchy. Which they all are, but in a different way. It's like the song is a little harder than the rest of them. First of all, there's a little more balls to it in that way, where you're still making us happy and everything. We still got the joygasmic experience, but we're a little grungier, we're a little dirty. Maybe this was our moody teenage phase of like April of 2020. You know what I mean? Like in the infancy of your band or whatever. But I mean, it's almost got like an alt rock feel to me, which is very cool because that's not like most of the rest of the stuff that I've heard from you guys. But the guitar solo is so intense and it's really badass, and I love it. And this is what came to mind, okay? And I mean this as a great compliment, and I hope you take it as such. And knowing as you two as I do, I think you will. It sounded like a cooler, more modern version, I'm going to go ahead and say it, of Pour Some Sugar on Me.
Hey, love it. I love it.
Okay, you love it.
Not, but I do.
Because
I'll take
that. You cannot put that song on and have people not pause. Everybody's going to fucking sing it. Even if they hate that song, you are physically incapable of not singing along to it. And this kind of had that vibe for me. It was just so many things, and then I'm in that, and then the bridge comes and the melody changes and the feel of the song changes. You have that call and response back and forth, but the drums get real big and the guitar comes back in and kind of blazes away. And I just was like, you know what? The fact that you guys have that song in your arsenal, I found that exciting to me because it strikes me that, you could put it on a Magic Bullet. You could put it on, another thing, and it wouldn't sound like, wait, this is Trick Shot? No, like it's definitely Trick Shot, but it's another side of you guys. And it's like choosing a favorite child, right? When I say stuff like this, so it's not like I don't like the other ones, but I was struck by that one because it was a different feel, So was that you, Ian? Just doing the math on what Dave said about it being We Got the Night and Cross the Line being his, and you each did two. Okay, so what was the songwriting process for that? And I want to get into songwriting in general too with you guys about all this. You have an interesting process that you do for songwriting and production. So I think everyone will geek out pretty hard on that. But talk to me about Is It My Fault, Ian? Because I'm really curious about that one.
Well, I think I wrote that one around about 2005. I think.
Okay.
At the time, I was living with a friend of mine, Tiffany, in North Adelaide here, and she'd just broken up with her boyfriend, and I happened to overhear the phone call because we all lived in this tiny little half a house thing. And she was like, "Is it my fault that you've fallen in love with me?" It wasn't, that's. And I was like, "Oh, what a great lyric." And
you're like, also sorry about your relationship, Tiffany, but I gotta go. I'm writing some shit down now. What else are you say? What else is your fault, Tiffany? Talk to him about it. I'm on verse 2. Yeah.
As she was breaking up with him, I was writing things down. And,
does she get a songwriting credit on that one? Because I kind of feel like Tiffany got screwed if not.
The way he steals them off me is bloody better give it to me.
So she benefited. All right, there you go. But okay, so that came out of an overheard phone call of disastrous proportions. Okay, and then what about the instrumentation choices for that? Because again, different for you guys. Different.
Well, I wrote that on. I had a Zoom 12-track digital recorder which had a built-in drum machine and a bass. Okay. So recorded the guitars to a click track. Came up with this just finger drummed, and then wrote the bass line, programmed the bass line, and then recorded the vocals, wrote the vocals live. So it's kind of a mix of, do the guitars first, and then write everything around it.
Yeah. I love that because
No
on
talent.
your
The man has
on
no
your
talent.
well, no, clearly not.
None.
Not attractive and no talent. I don't even know why you hang out with him, but no, but it's
Makes me
but
look better.
no, I love me a bearded silver fox, but no, but I mean, if you talk about your music the way that you do, like in your on your YouTube channel, you have a video where Ian goes through was it For Nothing I'd Rather Do, I think maybe
I think it was. Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
And guys, seriously, because I know so many people watching and listening right now are musicians, and if not all of them, but you will geek out on this really hard because Ian goes through his rig, he goes through, he's got his focus right, he's got like all his, programming and everything. And he shows you how he will build the track. And one of my favorite moments in that video was where you start playing back the clip of Dave singing to the click. And you're like, I'm not going to play too much of this because I don't want to embarrass him. And I'm like, oh man, even in this moment, he can't resist it. He has to, whatever. And I'm like, that's embarrassing anyway.
How can I one up that here?
Well, there you go. And you didn't even get him back when you did your little video.
No,
I'm a bigger person than that.
See, that's it, Ian. He's just, you're putting the ass in class, and he's just not going there. So But so, I mean, and I love that the fact where I was going with this long-winded thing is that you guys seem to write and produce your music kind of at the same time, which I think is really cool, and I think that, so, I mean, just to be clear, because, I mean, who is everything vocally, it's not all Ian. Dave, you sing too. Right?
Not on the album, no. Oh, I do.
On the EP, yeah.
On the EP, you do, right? So
EP,
right. So you sing your two, don't you? And then Ian sings his two.
There's We Got the Night and Cross the Line, which are both Ian as well on lead vocals.
But you sing.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So, but from what I understand it sounds like I'm right about that. Magic Bullet is all you singing, right, Ian? You're okay. So I mean, so it's interesting to me that you get a vocal line from Dave that you're putting to, you know what I mean? Like, I like the way that you guys Frankenstein the stuff. So rather than my badly butchering my, outside knowledge of your 7-minute YouTube or whatever, for the music geeks out there, why don't you talk a little bit about, like, just from the start of an idea, and I guess maybe we should focus more on Magic Bullet because it's the new stuff, right? It's not stuff that's 18 years old or whatever that you guys wrote before you even knew each other. But so like in writing Magic Bullet, Dave, I know you were the 3-week whirlwind Tasmanian devil that did this, but I mean, did you write every single part of it? You didn't write Ian's guitar and all that?
No.
Did you? Okay, yes. So you did the lyrics.
No.
So talk to me about.
Come on now.
How you guys? How did you? That's it. See, that's how he's going to get back at you for that little thing in the video. He's going to claim that he did the whole thing. Ian's not even on the new album, folks. It's all Dave. It's all Dave. No, but so talk to me about how you guys built Magic Bullet. Because it's as a remote band, especially that's very reliant on tech to get everything to work. I especially appreciated everything that was in that production video, but I want to hear more about the writing too. So you guys go back and forth however you need to on that, but let me get that story.
All right. So basically for Magic Bullet, apart from the two we already had on the EP, which was still done this way anyway, when I first think, I'll get an idea, or I hear a breakup phone call, however it happens, I will always pick up the guitar first and get the music. So I have to get the chords, and then from there I'll pick a melody that feels right, or I'll just start barring away and that's good. And then, like, because it's me, I have to go, no, that's not in tune, that's out of tune, somewhere around there, where maybe Ian will like me to sing. And then I'll just sit and bang out some words. Sometimes, I have written songs in 15 minutes. It's not a lie. People can do it. Sometimes it takes however long it takes to bang out. But what I do, which Ian desperately hates, is I'll just do a phone recording in the moment and basically go, this is the song. Put the microphone on and sing it. And I'll go, Ian, do you like this? Is it to a click? No. And then he has to yell at me, why are you even sending me something there? Click on it. And so then I have to go into the computer and through the Tascam US 4x4 and through to the iMac Pro, whatever it is, 213 with 16 gig terabytes or whatever it's got. Oh, I'm not the technical man. That's him. Him down there. He's the technical man.
I just love that you said 16 gig terabyte. That's might be my new favorite. So okay, please don't do the tech for the band based on just that sentence alone. But okay, so you have to go back and add that, Ian. You really make him go back and add the click. You do that?
No.
Okay, because my understanding was that you could add it.
We do wind each other up, so.
We've got that mentions. It's true.
Yeah. Well, it has to make things easier when you do that. I will have to side with Ian on that one. Given everything.
I understand.
But as a creative, whatever. I also understand forgetting entirely about the click track every single time, because that is completely something that I would also do. So I empathize with and support both of you. So okay, so
excellent.
So that was and I mean, like, just to back it up even further from that. And I know, I mean, to write, how many songs are on Magic Bullet, by the way? Is it an EP or an LP? So it's an LP. Okay. So you've got 10 songs you wrote in 3 weeks. So what the fuck happened, Dave? Like, what what was going on in your life, in your brain, in your musical, whatever that you how did that, were you just coming up with riff after riff after riff? Like, what?
Well, okay. So there's a few little elements to this story. I have had bipolar in my life 3 times into the mental institutionals of South Australia.
Okay.
I'm proud. I don't mind telling. I used to tell everyone used to say, Dave, you shouldn't tell people that. It's like, well, it's me. It's who I am.
Yeah.
Those
are just people who can't face their own shit. So I ignore people like that.
Exactly right.
Yeah. No. Good for you. Yeah. No. We big fans of mental health on this show, as you probably know.
Yeah, you got to be. Everyone has it in some form or another, and you can't escape that, especially at the moment.
They just might not all know it yet. That's right. Yeah. So
that's right.
Okay.
So find it out. Yeah.
So was this a manic phase, or like what was that what you did? Or?
Oh no, because
not even joking. Because I know I have known plenty of people in my life, and I have family who have bipolar, and like, when they are in manic phases, sometimes the stuff they can do is unbelievably impressive. So that wasn't me making a joke. I was wondering.
Basically, it's true.
4 songs came through that manic.
Okay.
Was it only the 4?
Like, slow down.
Slow down.
Yeah. So it's not that you send yourself to that space, but you can channel and open yourself up to things that. And I firmly believe the bipolar people of the world are the people who bring in all the newer ideas and all the great things that will change society in general. But in this instance, I just said to myself, well, I've got to birth something. Let's go. And I remember just looking up, going, "Yep, it's time," and down it came.
Very cool.
And it was quick. It was quick. And I just started listening to a digital radio station in Australia, and like there's. As you know, with radio songs, there's a formula. There's everything sits in bandwidths, and once you can pick it, you go, oh my God, that's how they do it.
That's right.
So from there, it just all came very naturally and easily. And Ian hated me because I was like, "Have you done the song yet? Have you done the song yet? Have you done the song yet?" It's like, don't even talk to me till next Tuesday. Did you tell me Tuesday? Ask on Monday. Oh, yeah, fucking
C word.
No, sorry, that's that word. Sorry, you fucking
that's
bugger.
Okay.
Don't do it again.
Yeah.
But he probably did use that word though.
Yeah, he probably did.
I did use it.
He's like, I most certainly did. That's okay. We'll bleep it out. That's fine. But no.
Very good.
Okay. So you were just lit up, and it just came pouring out. So and I mean, do you usually? Because you said you start on guitar. Is that because you get a riff in your head usually? Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And being a natural guitarist, that's where I write. I don't write on bass at all, to be honest.
Sure. I don't think many people do. I mean,
no, it'd be very
generally
hard.
First, I mean, like, there are songs where, you could absolutely say, yeah, okay, I believe the bass line might have come first there, but mostly I think it's guitar or it's vocals or something like that. But okay. So, and then, so Dave throws you this just pile of stuff. Okay, Ian. And so you sit down and when you get it from Dave, you've got guitar, not a click track.
And vocal.
But you've got
One
guitar and vocals, right?
one
Okay.
vocal, yeah.
One guitar and vocals and hopefully a click track, maybe. And so then when you're building / writing, you know, and programming drums, whatever, you know, and now with Dave P in the mix, is Dave writing drum parts now?
Not on this
Yeah,
album.
yeah. We've
Right, but not for the album because
No,
obviously
for-
timing wise,
not for-
yeah.
yeah,
So
not for-
yeah, okay.
the next
So
album,
okay,
for
so
sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay, so great. So then for Magic Bullet, so you get your guitar, you get your vocals from Dave, and I'm assuming it's rhythm guitar at that point.
So basically,
Okay.
well,
Yep,
yeah, so
mainly.
David sent me that.
ooh.
Yeah, you send me the stereo file, so it'll be like guitar on the left, vocals on
Right.
the right,
Right.
and then I'll pan them out onto Cubase. If there's no click, I'll sync a click up to it because there's a couple of songs on Magic Bullet that are that do have a human element to it where they waver in their time feel. I
Okay,
think
cool.
No One Wins is one of them. There's a couple of them that shift around.
I'm gonna pause there. That is the coolest fucking way to say that everything isn't done exactly perfectly rhythm tempo wise that I've ever heard anyone use. So I'm gonna have you repeat that back because people, when you're on stage, if somebody's like, man, you know, the guitars and the drums were not quite in sync, you're gonna say it again, Ian.
I can't remember what I said.
There's a human element.
There's a human element. So there's a human element in. I mean, it's great. I do love clicks, and one of the cover bands we play to a click. I have it in here with a click in it.
Yeah.
And it's great, you know. But when we play live, when Trick Shot play live, it'll go where it needs to go.
But you know what though, I love that too because I mean we, you know, not to be self-referential, but the reason I love it is because, you know, we, even though we're remote, we only play live, right? So everything we do is live in real time, and it gets fucked up. Like it does. I mean, it's just, and every band I've ever been in, you know, you'd never have a perfect stage show ever.
No.
Doesn't exist, right? And nobody gives a fuck. Like if they even notice, unless it's catastrophically wrong, which it's usually not, nobody notices.
A couple of times.
Yeah, but I mean, like if you've got a terrible singer, not you, but if a band, so you do not clearly have you have a great singer, but if you have a terrible singer as a band, people are going to notice. Yeah. If the singer's great and the instruments are terrible, people are going to notice. They might tolerate it depending on how good the singer is, right? Yeah. But unless it's something, or you're massively out of tune or time, otherwise it's got to be so bad for people to notice, first of all, and then so much worse for them to actually care, because it's not about that. It's not about, if you want perfect, you go home and you listen to a CD. Right. Exactly. You know, and that's one of the weird things about being a live band that has everything recorded in perpetuity on the internet is like, you know, if you go to a bar and you listen to a band and like they're not, you know, quite right on every song, you don't walk out going, oh, you know, remember the fourth song they did? Yeah, man, you know, like that bass line was just, it came in like a, you know, just a half beat, you know, behind everybody. Nobody walks out there. They're like, man, that band was fucking awesome, whatever.
Yeah. Exactly.
So I like that you guys are like that, and I like that there's some of that on the album too. You know, that the time waves and all of that, as you put it, the human element. I like that because there is such a thing as too perfect in music, and I think it's like an uncanny valley with it's like AI. You there's no soul in it, and it kind of freaks you the fuck out. So I like when things are not perfect. So But okay, so to get back to that, so you've got the, you know, you put the click track in if it's not already there, Dave, and you and then what's the next thing you add? Is it usually drums?
So I'll redo all the guitars. So I'll just do all the rhythm guitars, or Dave will say, I kind of want this kind of rhythm, or I want this little lick bit here, and I'll go, oh yeah, sweet, no worries, I'll add that. Then I'll put my little, you know, cherry on top of the guitars with a few little squeals and this and that.
Yeah.
And then I'll program, then I'll work out the arrangement. Sometimes things will get cut. There'll be too long a verse, or choruses, you know, a pre-chorus doesn't really go anywhere.
Right.
But we all do that. It's not. I'm not pointing to Dave saying he does it. We all do it. And so
Not having a
once you
shot
get-
at all.
once I get that arrangement down, I'll send it to Dave. It's like, oh, are you happy with this? Is that, you know? And he's like, yeah, sweet. Hurry up. Do the
Okay.
drums. Then, so I
When's it
help
gonna be ready?
I'm gathering there's a lot of that. Hurry up, hurry up,
Oh,
hurry up,
I'm
Ian.
impatient. I'm impatient, but I love new demo day. Like, it's one of the most. It was the best joy I had. Like coming up to the completion of it. It's like, I've got a new song for you.
It makes all the waiting worth it. You're like a
Yeah, it
little
does.
kid at Christmas. I like that.
I
So
was.
okay,
It was
so
great.
then you've kind of redone, added, taken out, rearranged. Okay.
And then
Okay.
I'll program the drums. I've got Superior Drummer 2, so I'll program the drums for that, and then I'll do a bass line. This is only for this album, so the next album is going to be completely different.
Right.
It's
Yeah,
just
Right. We'll get to that next. What
Yeah.
the plan's going to be for that, but yeah.
time constraints and all that business.
Yeah, bang it out as quick as we could.
And then I would
But
sing
still musically superior.
yeah. And then I would sing it. Might have to add a word here or there, just because it's obviously sometimes it's harder to sing and play guitar
Yeah.
instead of just singing in the studio and then having a guitar. So I'd have to
Oh,
work out what I could do live.
Sure.
Sometimes I'd drop a word out or something that I just couldn't do on playing guitar.
Yeah. Either for that or just breath or
Drum
whatever.
reader.
Yeah. I mean, you can do anything you want in the studio. You can sound like
That's
the best
right.
band in the world. But
Yeah, like
can't
you
do
have
it live.
gills or something. Yeah, but
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
the thing too, is that like when I was talking to Dion Powder Band, they said a similar thing about you can produce something to within an inch of its life in the studio, but then the more you do of that, the more bells and whistles and layers and everything you do, when people come out to hear you live, they're like, the way, that's not what, I mean, like, okay, we have a synth on this song. We don't have a synth player. Well, good luck, like, and I mean,
Ian has
so,
that song already.
It's right. So, I mean, so it's very wise to be mindful of creating something in the studio that's going to be reasonably reproducible on stage, because people aren't going to care why you didn't do it that way. They're just going to want to hear what they want to hear,
Exactly.
So, and I mean, unless you're
And
using
that's
tracks on
why we
stage,
got
you
the
kind of,
night. And that's why we got the night got edited, because we have this massive legendary guitar part Ian did, but so the folklore guys, it was 8 tracks, so you can't do that live. So we just had to edit it out for the album.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, it's, I mean, the other option is to do a studio version, and then like a stripped down, not live version as in it's live, but just, because if you have that kind of thing, it's hard to not want people to hear it. It's hard not to want people to hear what you can do in the studio, and I think there's room for that too, because like, I mean, how many songs I fell in love with over the years, and I realized when I got the album that I had only ever heard the radio edit.
Yeah.
And there were whole other verses and and solos and bridges and things where I was like, wait, what? And it doesn't make me like either one more or less than the other. They're just different, and so I like that idea that you guys could at least, let us hear, that all the bells and whistles, but then, for those of us who are not going to be, able to stroll into a bar in Adelaide and listen to you play live, we still get the experience by listening back. So, okay. So, and I mean, once Dave's 3 weeks, were over and you had all this stuff, how long did it take to get it where you felt like, okay, before obviously Thoroughbred came into the picture and kind of remixing, remastering, all that happened? Like, did you do it in 2 weeks and 6 days just to fuck with Dave?
No.
It was a longer process, I imagine. You guys are like the tortoise and the hare, I could tell already.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, okay.
Where Dave took 15 minutes to write a song, it'd take me probably a week to do, the production-wise, put the drums, bass, and then...
That's not bad, Ian. Or Dave.
Yeah.
And then,
it's really not, considering
good.
everything you're doing, that's not bad at all.
Yeah, but it's just, I've got a full-time job as well, and it was just trying to find that time.
Sure.
2 or 3 hours a night.
That's
and
not
it got
easy.
pretty stressful towards the end. I'd had enough by the end.
I don't blame you. It's a lot to do in a
And
short
it nearly
period.
actually, and here's a story. This is the scoop of a story.
Okay.
It actually almost cost us not getting to the starting line.
Yeah.
Okay.
He had it when I flippantly said about the Tuesday and Wednesday comment. That's what he said. He said, "Do not even talk to me until Wednesday." And then I said Tuesday. I said, "Was it Wednesday? I'm not allowed to talk to you." And he, oh my God, he went apoplectic at me.
Yeah.
He really did. He was like, "I don't even know why I'm
towards
even going to ahead and do this." And I don't know what happened. Who said something? Someone said something very sage-like to you.
I don't know. No
Oh,
idea.
something like, "Well, you've gone
Someone
this far. It's really good stuff."
I got to be honest
Someone
with you,
smarter
Dave.
than I.
This was not the quality scoop I was hoping for with this story.
No, well,
You're like,
every
somebody
band
said
has their ups
something,
and
but I don't
downs.
know who it was or what they said. But okay, so there was a bit of a freak out, and then someone wisely calmed you down, Ian. Is that what I'm getting
Yeah, I
from
think
this
it was
story?
I think it was a jip rocker on site. I was working on it. I was talking to him about it, and he's like, because I think he'd heard our songs. I've been
Okay.
because it was one of the other guys I work with. Because I've been basically every time I'd finish a song, I'd take it to work and just thrash the absolute balls out of it all day, every day. Like, listening on 3 different stereos so I can get, doing all that rubbish.
Okay.
So it sounds good and everything. And he just turned around and he said, "I don't know what you're worried about. These things are so ear candy. It's just shut up and play your guitar." And I was like, "Well,
There you go.
that's Frank Zappa. And where did you get that from?" And he's like, "That's what you say." I was like, "Oh, yeah, I do." And I'm like,
Damn
right.
it! Don't quote me
So,
back to me.
I was like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna take my own
No.
advice.
But you know what, though? I mean, that's something that I've heard almost every musician I've interviewed for this show say in one way or another, that it's so easy to get into your head.
Yeah.
It's so easy to not see the forest for the trees. It's so easy to be overly critical and to hamstring things. And it's funny to me that talking to you guys more now and getting to know you better, what's cool about this is that you both have that joy and that feel that you want to capture with the music that you do, but you come at it in very different ways. Dave is the little bunny over here, just go, and Ian is just like, dude, calm the fuck down, but I don't think Trick Shot would work or even exist if both of those elements weren't there, because if it were all Dave and all id, just like, here it is, get it out, get it done, get it go, you would come out with a new album every month, but it might not be exactly what you wanted it to be because of all of the care and the time and the crafting and the whatever. If Ian were the only one, you would come out with an album every 6 or 7 years and it would be perfectly crafted, but people would have forgotten about you or died by that point. So it's cool to me that you guys have all of those structural components that you need between the two of you, that there's the energy and the passion and the love and the fire that you both have, but the timing of that and the manifestation of that and the way that you both approach that is so different. So that's really cool, because it makes sense to me now how you could do something so quickly but still have it sound so polished. That's not easy to do.
No.
I mean, another person who comes to mind with that is like Josh from Under the Yggdrasil and Rotting Sun Records and Without the Sky and End. Josh will crank this stuff out, but it sounds so polished and wonderful, and it's because he's kind of got both of the elements that you guys bring, but all in one head, but it's easy to put out something slowly that sounds great, and it's easy to put out something quickly that's like good enough, quote unquote, but like you guys are in that sweet spot there, which is really tremendous. But I get it now just listening to the two of you, and I love that you're able to not kill each other that you enjoy. You clearly enjoy each other so much, but that's because it could very much be like an Odd Couple kind of thing in that way, but it's not. He calms you down, you light him up a little bit. It where you meet in the middle. I love that. I think that's very cool. So
I'm glad it went the way it did.
Yeah, it could have been not
gone
not great. Yeah, it could have gone really south really quickly. But so you've got, again, you had the EP that came out in February. It was mainly stuff that each of you had 2 and 2 that you brought from anywhere from almost 20 years ago to more recently stuff, whatever. But I wanted to, just before we kind of fully shift the focus over to Magic Bullet, just go over those EP songs a little bit with you, because
sure.
We talked about We Got the Night, we've heard it, I really it is such a feel good song, and it is so much ear candy, and so I think that's very, very clearly just going to make people happy when they listen to it. So then again, is it my fault? We talked about too, poor Tiffany, but that Ian took that. And again, to have those 2 songs, one right after the other on the EP, was another interesting choice to me, that, and maybe it was just a matter of you guys wanted to alternate, I don't know, but it was cool because, you started us slow, and anthemic like that, and then you ramped us up with Is It My Fault, and then you get to Cross the Line, and again, to me that's the poppiest of the 6. It's very, it goes down really smooth. It did have that kind of, and I don't really exactly know what I mean by a Belinda Carlisle feel, but her music always made me happy too, so maybe that's what I'm thinking of. There was that. It's not the vocals, certainly it doesn't sound like it, and there isn't a Belinda Carlisle song that I'm going, oh, it sounds like this one, but it was just that aesthetic, but then I also heard in that some Elvis Costello. There was a little bit of that, slightly off the beaten path kind of feel to it, and when you put Belinda Carlisle and Elvis Costello together, it could be the ugliest baby ever, but it was really cool to me, and again, like Cross the Line, more of a ballad, I would say. Right?
It is literally the ballad of the album.
Yeah. So was that more of like a, hey, we should have a ballad on the album thing, or is this just one that you especially? Okay, it wasn't calculated into that.
No. It was completely lucky, actually, because when we were recording it in Ian's studio, I had to demo it because I'd written it, obviously. So I'm playing away, and then we recorded it. We took it, and they said, come back and do the vocals because you sounded tired and something. So I came back, and I didn't have my lyric sheet. And I said, shit, I don't remember these words, man. And then we sang what we got on the album. So
no kidding. So those weren't even the original lyrics.
No, version 2.
That's version so 2. Funny. So you just had to come up with them off the top of your head?
Oh yeah, so whoa, this is our song, and then you think two lines ahead, what lines was song, then blah, blah, and that's just how it was. Like every time I sing, it's like, oh yeah, that sounds good. So we took a couple of takes at it.
So many people hate you right now, Dave. Watching.
My wife hates me. Like it could be like
the 3-week album was bad. He wrote a song as he was singing it. What the fuck? People are flipping tables now all over. Okay, okay. That's impressive. I'm going to go back and listen to that again now, knowing that story, and see if I can hear you being like,
you can hear the thought process
on the album. So Ian, he's got a good handle on it.
You
can imagine, like we did this song in the very beginning when we first started going out called "Whiskey to Go Go," and that song's different every time it comes out of my mouth. I have no idea what I'm singing half the time. That's just sometimes it's like with my stuff that's happened. Recall.
Hey,
and if you're in that position live, you have a fear of fucking stuffing it up. You got to learn to fly it.
Right. No, but hell, if you can do that, because who's gonna go? Wait a minute. I saw you guys 6 weeks ago and the lyrics were different. Nobody's going to do that. And if they are, you'll just be like, oh, yeah, it's the alternate version. We wrote that.
Yeah.
Nobody knows you're just making it up as you go. I mean, because that's the thing, right? I mean, like, this was an argument I used to get into all the time with one of the members of my previous band where, like, if he fucked something up on stage, I was like, just keep going. If you keep going, or if it's obvious that you fucked up, smile about it, because the audience, in the same way that the audience takes their cue of how much of a good time they're going to have with a band by watching how much of a good time the band is having on stage, they will laugh it off with you, or they will just suffer and die on the floor with you. And no matter how many times I said that, there'd be one wrong note and it was like the world had ended and it ruined the vibe for everybody. And it was just like, it's not that big a deal. Like, it's not that, who cares? People are drinking, they're dancing, they're having a good time. Nobody's going, well, that was the wrong preposition. Nobody gives a fuck. Like, they just don't, And I mean, there's a local band that they play out all the time. And one of the guys will get on mic and you never know what the hell he's going to say. He's a complete loose cannon. And, and he was so busy talking about something that he forgot that he was supposed to be singing the song. And so, the band is playing, everything's going there, and he's looking around like, aren't you going to sing? And then he was like, oh shit, I was supposed to sing. And he started to laugh. We all started to laugh. They kept going, but they got back to the first verse and they did the whole song, and everybody cheered at the end of it because we were rooting for them, So like, if you can not only roll with the punches like that, but literally write lyrics in real time on the stage when you forget that, nobody's even going to know. That's very impressive. Like, you clearly have a facility for that, Dave. That's very cool. Sure. That's very cool.
Thank you very much.
So, I mean, and then again, I think just to get back to cross the line a little bit more, that, like, I did hear, again, that kind of 50s chord progression, that doo-wop sensibility, but that guitar solo is 1,004% 80s all the way. It is just, it's, I just, there's nothing that sounded like that before it. And there's nothing that sounded like it since. And it's not to say that there haven't been great guitar solos all through every decade and in every genre or whatever, but like 80s guitar solos, that big hair, arena epic rock, whatever, like it's totally epic. And like, exactly where you are and exactly who you're with when you hear that, and it is really difficult, as I said, to be in a bad mood when you're listening to stuff like that. Like, nobody goes and listens to like Poison or Motley Crue and like cries into their beer. Like, you just don't, you can't do that. You really can't. So I mean, I mean, since you guys wrote those before you met each other, just to clarify, when you came back to put them together for the EP, I'm assuming there was some reworking, rewriting, adding, taking out. Okay, so that was, how similar were they when you brought them into what ended up on the EP at the end of it?
They were pretty close.
Okay.
I mean, the guitar solos, obviously, the ones that were original. Were, didn't have the Ian touch, I guess. Or the fact that I can play a million notes in a minute. But that was the only. Basically, the song structures were there.
Okay.
The lyric ideas, obviously, they just came out of nowhere, out of the ether.
Sometimes.
And then Dave just said, "Oh, look, here's 8 bars.
Yeah.
Do what you want." And
that's cool. Yeah.
And I just like to add on to that.
Because it's in E minor, the solo's in E minor. It's just like, that's the easiest guitar key in the world to like play 1,000 miles an hour. So,
it is pretty. Yeah, it's more straightforward. But you were going to say, Dave, what, you trust him?
Yeah, I have to say, whenever I take an idea to Ian and it comes out to whatever happens anytime, what Ian does to it, I trust him implicitly.
Yeah.
I don't even need to say, oh, well, that's a bit shit there, isn't it? Because it never is.
Right. Yeah.
Gorgeous thing that I heard my song sound like in this instance. And then when he's playing me stuff on his, like, when we were like chucking ideas around what to put on the EP, I was going, man, and he can tell the story about his taxi days, no doubt. But he's got so much dearth of his own stuff, and I have a dearth of my own stuff. And you're talking about like coming together at the right time when like complimenting each other. It's like a dyad in the Force, to quote Star Wars, you know? It really was. It's just the right time, right moment, right people, and bang. It's gorgeous. It's magical.
Yeah.
That's Magic Bullet was
you are so much on the same wavelength, you know, and when I you know, because I hear the music and that's great, you know, when I listen to things, but I really, for me, you know, the music is one piece of it, but the processes involved are other, you know, how are the songs written? How is the production done? And so when I started digging more, because, you know, like there are so many ways to enjoy music, right? Like you can just sit and listen and let it wash over you. You can pay attention to the lyrics, you know, if they're saying something, and then you can interpret the emotional content of it, or even just the feeling behind it if it isn't something very specific. You can sit there and you can listen from a technical standpoint of proficiency of guitar solos or bass or drums or vocals or whatever. But then, you know, as a musician and somebody who does really geek out over just songs and how they come into being and all of that, once I did some of the digging and I you know, saw what you guys were doing with it technically on your YouTube channel, it made me appreciate it in a different way too, because that kind of process could take all of the soul and the heart out of the music.
Yeah.
You know, it really could, because it's not, you know, you guys aren't jamming, sitting there together, playing in a room, and you come up with something, and, you know, it's crafted, and it's crafted separately, right? But so because you guys are so on that same page with what the band is, what the band does, and what the sound is, you can accomplish that in a way that's really kind of neat and tidy, right? You know, that it can be done that way. But I imagine you also have a really good fucking time together on stage, because that's a whole other. And you seem like you do. You know, you seem like you do. And I think it's I think that must just be fun to get to actually play it together.
It is,
because you don't otherwise. Yeah. So is that more fun? That's more fun than the studio piece, I imagine, right?
Yes, but just before you go into that, Ian. Before you do go into that, can I just say, to tie that all together, the EP version of We Got the Night was the first thing Ian ever created of mine.
Okay.
And can you imagine just being a musician writing a song, and you come back, you drop the needle, or CD or MP3 file, and you heard that intro?
Yeah.
And that's just come from nowhere. And you're just like going, oh my God, it's like Queen. It's like epic. It's like magic. It really was. And at that moment, I said to myself, right, whatever he does is going to be brilliant. So just let it get out of his way. Yes, I was far too impatient for my own good sometimes, but I just let him get out of his way and let him do his stuff. And his shit is really good.
No, but
live we kick it up.
Yeah,
well, and
it's
actually
a different animal.
And I mean, it's well, you know what, actually, before we get into the live piece, because I don't want to forget any of the children, we didn't talk about Take My Breath, and that was Ian's. I think you were hoping that was my favorite, right? So
yeah.
Okay, so I mean, now I put that song on, and instantly I'm thinking Spoon Man. Instantly, like it's it, and then you take such a turn from the intro of that song to the rest of it that I was like, okay. I love when bands do that, but do it in a way where you don't feel like, wait, did the album skip? Did the track, like, I've heard people do that where they'll do this very, you know, hard rock, whatever intro, and then, you know, they'll have like an EDM song that comes after it. And I'm like, what the fuck? You know, that's not what this is. It's just, I felt like you were playing in that song, Ian. Like, I felt like you were not fucking with us, but like you were playing around. You were having a good time with what you were doing there. And I mean, go ahead.
That one, to go back to your original, earlier on, that one was actually written on bass.
Very cool. Okay.
I was channeling Lemmy, because the intros, the bass is distorted pretty much through the whole thing.
Yes.
And I had that intro line, like the and that was in my head, and I was like, and I got that out of my, and I just wrote the whole thing on bass, like the bass line.
Oh.
And then same thing on my Zoom, on little Zoom 12-channel recorder, and then went, oh yeah, what can I do here? And then chopped it all up, and so yeah, it was Lemmy. There's definitely Lemmy involved.
Okay.
And Soundgarden with the kind of the stops and the like that kind of
yep, that sort of chuggy kind of
Still a big swathe of Iron Maiden in the verses, I feel.
Well, and especially in the fact that, at least from what I noticed, is that the verses are slightly faster than the choruses.
Yeah.
So that gives it a feel for me too, you know, because it's sort of the natural or expected, at least,
the other way around.
Dynamic would be the other way around. Exactly. And I love when a song will do that, because it makes the chorus something else. You know, it's not like, a lot of songs will just basically be killing time until they get to the chorus because they know they've got a hook. You know, and it's cool.
1 minute.
That's it. That's exact. And I mean, and what was cool about that choice that you guys made there with Take My Breath and slowing it down for the choruses, and not drastically, but perceptibly, right, was that it makes you, it stops you where a song might ordinarily be ramping you up, you know, and it forces you to listen to the song differently. Yeah, it does. And it but not enough that you're killing the energy of the song, you know, not enough that you're, you know, and I mean, you guys also are, you know, 80s music historically, like especially this kind of arena rock stuff, is not generally nuanced in terms of dynamics, right? I mean, it's all pretty much full throttle, in your face, whatever. And I read a review, and I don't remember by whom, and I apologize, but you guys will probably remember, of, I think it was Nothing I'd Rather Do, where at the very end of it, the guy says something like, you know, it never quite kicks into the highest tier of energy, but you like the song all the more for that. And that's kind of what I took with Take My Breath too, was you could have taken us there. You could have pushed it, but it was more interesting to kind of rock us back and forth. No pun intended.
Yeah, light and shade almost. It's the light and shade aspect. Yeah,
and it gave the song dimension because of that. You know, that it was, you know, that you have something that really, if somebody listens to the first 5 seconds of that song and then stops it, and then you're like, okay, what is the rest of the song going to be like? Nobody would fucking guess the rest of it. Nobody would. but it's cool because it still works somehow. You know, and what I thought was especially interesting, and then I wanted to get back to the live bit of it, but of all of the 4 on the EP, that one, Take My Breath, was the most like the new ones on Magic Bullet to me. You know, and it's funny because they're still different, but I could see, and I thought I could see, but as it turns out, these songs were written a long time ago, so it wasn't even that I thought I could see where you guys were headed. But it was really where you were and then came back to.
I think I don't know how old that one was.
Yeah,
that was it.
They were all written.
There you go.
We met later.
That's No, it makes
and also
sense.
we ordered it that way for that reason. Whereas Take My Breath was supposed to be the segue to the album.
Okay.
Between the mishmash. And then we were segueing into the actual release.
It did do that. Okay. So that, because that was my feel, was it was kind of like, okay, guys, here's where we're going. It was almost like an ellipsis at the end of the EP and
that's why we also had one each in order.
Yeah.
Everyone a taste.
Yeah.
Take My Breath was the.
No, it's very cool. And it's very, you know, I love when things are thoughtful without being overly calculated like that, because the second that you start to smell manipulation in anything, especially music, you lose people. So, you know, and that's antithetical to what you guys do anyway. You know, your music is kind of like, you know, a puppy in that way. You know, it's just like sunshine and light, and it makes people happy, and it kind of unconditionally loves people, but it also rocks. But like, so, okay, so to veer back then into the, just because you guys, you know, with the gigs, you're fairly busy.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, you got a lot. Yeah. So talk to me about, I mean, just what it's like being on stage with the 3 of you. And then also just generally like the music scene down there, like how you're finding it, and as a new band. And I mean, you must have some connections from, previous lifetime, or at least you, Ian, but because I know you were out more. But so what's that like for you guys? Just the whole live element of things.
Yeah, so booking gigs is really quite easy for myself. I'm quite, I say it, ringing people hate when I ring them. It seems to be a thing down here. I don't know about over where you are, but people like everything electronically, and so they don't have to talk to you. But if you want results, pick up a phone.
Yeah.
That's my tip. So yeah, we've had like with the two bands, we started with Carl at the start of the year, and then we moved into Trickshot in about March, I think, for gigging. And so we've had like 35 we're going to have for the whole year. So that's pretty, with probably the hardest working original band in Adelaide, to be fair. The venue's been great. The crowds, like we had a gig on Friday night. The most people we saw congregated in the whole of the CBD of Adelaide was at a cafe at 12 o'clock. So, and it's just like, no one was out. And it gets a bit depressing, but it's not solely my job as the booker. Our job as the band to bring people out. We can't do it. We've tried. Well, I've tried. I don't know what the magic bullet for that is, but you just go out and you play and you have fun. And sometimes there's practice to 4 people. Sometimes you get 20, 30, 40, whatever you get.
It's
but
definitely not just you. It's not just
you. Good. That makes me happier.
And especially not now. The last 3 years have really murdered the music scene. It's closed so many venues. And so definitely we've had paid rehearsals like that too, when we were playing out in person, where there's like Joel is in the front and you're like, hi, thanks for coming out tonight, Joel. And it's just that one, So anyway, not just you at all. And the venues do have a responsibility. They just don't realize it.
Exactly. They do.
Not yet. But and the scene's really strong in the original sector down here. We've got some really good bands doing some really good things. And look, I just was in a call with the industry people last week, and there's the more we can do, like in spaces I didn't know were there, or how to get to at least. And hopefully we can bridge that gap for ourselves and also for others, because I've never been the guy to sit, I'm in the ivory tower, I've got my deal, I've got my album, no one else may have anything. No, bring it, everyone, come on, let's go. Let's revitalize the thing.
Yeah.
But I didn't even know where I was going with all that, but that's
you were, because we were talking about just live music and the scene down there in general. So it sounds like it's basically the same all over. You make your own gigs, you do your own work. The venues sort of think it's your job, but whatever. Yeah. So okay, you feel the same, Ian? You're nodding.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
The cover scene as well. Coming from that, if you're not, you go through an agent. And they book you the gigs, and then no one turns up, and then they blame you, and it's like, well, hang on, where's your promotion? You should be bringing your own crowd.
Wasn't this your job? Yeah, exactly.
Didn't they?
Well, that's the other side of it too, is that the venue knows they're going to be having somebody every Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I mean, like, it should not be a mystery. I mean, I don't know. It is a strange. It's the only occupation where I think people are surprised that they have to do something, as a venue. Like it's like going to a restaurant and being like, oh, you didn't bring your own food with you. It's like, well, what the fuck are you here for? Like that, I mean, it makes no sense. So I mean that seems to be unfortunately a universal thing. No matter where the bands I talk to are. If they gig out, it's that same kind of thing. And it's so hard because it's who you know or who somebody knows. And, I mean, I know bands around here that play all the time simply because somebody in the band knows, they went to high school with the guy who owns the venue or whatever. And the band's not any better than any of the other ones. They're connected, So, I mean, that's one of the shittiest things. But please, Dave, don't. That's not just you guys at all. I mean, I
thank God for that.
No, it's really not. It's really, really not. And it's a shame because live music is there isn't anything like it. But now it's cheaper for venues to hire DJs, or have karaoke nights or trivia nights.
Open mics, that other little chestnut of free entertainment.
That's it, and I mean, and I'm glad that those exist, but it's like you can't, if the only entertainment that's ever provided is stuff that's free for the venue to provide, you're missing out on a lot, you know, and it's not like they pay us all well enough where we're they're not going out of business, you know, for somebody taking like a $600 gate or whatever. Like they're it's not going to close the place down if, you know, they just made thousands of dollars in alcohol.
Make it seem like it will, though.
Oh yeah. And again, look, I mean, there are great venues out there too that really take care of their people, but then there's the other side of it. So, but okay, so that's the businessy side of playing out live. But what about just like getting on stage, the three of you finally get a chance to just fucking turn it on and just do it. Like that's gotta be. So like, have you had a gig? Have you had a gig that was like your favorite so far of the ones you've done?
Mine was last Friday, to be honest.
Okay. Yeah, what about that one?
We bought the shit Friday. I felt. Okay. Yeah, it was really good. Like we just clicked. Like, I don't know, because you know, being the man of many girths, I've been working out lately, so I had a bit more stage stamina, and that really helped. The singing was better. Ian will tell you straight away if it's shit, but you know, the singing was better, but I also had more stamina to play harder, longer. You know, because most gigs I get to about song 4 or 5, I'm like, down tools, everyone, 5 minutes, please. But yeah, this one you can go straight through, and it was really noticeable from my perspective, and we just started clicking. I felt.
Yeah. Actually, that makes a ton of sense, because usually in a set, the first 3 you're going to play are the ones that are going to grab everybody by the short and curlies, right? You want to drag them in, and then you know you start to hit your stride, right? Like the first 3 songs were almost always a little frenetic, a little faster than maybe they're supposed to be, because the adrenaline, whatever, everybody's just on high. And then there is something about after that point, you know, where the crowd relaxes, you relax and whatever. But yeah, if you have to stop there or thereabouts, I could see it cutting into the overall momentum of the show. So that makes that's very cool that you're getting to do that now. And I mean, like, I guess by clicking, you guys hit that thing where it's just all coming together. Everybody's just locked in. Yeah, that's one of the best.
Yeah, we ham it up. We got to ham it up more too.
Yeah, more comfortable in what we're playing. So all the songs are actually starting to gel more better as a band live. It's just overall tightness. Yeah, and at least we're still going up.
Yeah.
Once we start to plateau, then we're going to have to start having questions.
Okay. Yeah. But you're not there. You don't have to.
No, like in terms of like how you feel at the end of the night. If you go, I didn't feel too good about that one, then we need to sit back and go, right, we need to change things up.
And
like you said earlier, Christina, there's no one doing what we do in Adelaide, or appears many places, but especially for Adelaide, like we're just completely out of the left field. We're very. How would you describe the scene in generally, and like what vibe? Like it's kind of like an alt rock vibe-ish.
Well,
indie.
There's a lot of metal, like proper metal, like Adelaide's like a metal EDM kind of. There's nothing in between, so it's like metal, really good metal bands, and then just EDM kids popping pingers and going nuts. But
so it's two very different things, and then 2 things that are completely different from anything that you guys are doing. So has that been a strength or a detriment so far? It sounds like more of a strength, because it could be like, wow, thank God somebody else is doing this, because I want to hear this and nobody's doing it. Or like, wait, they're not either this or this. And so I mean,
I think it's a little bit of both, but mainly it's been strength. It's given us the opportunity to just basically jamming in there and kick some nuts. We don't
care. Yeah. We just get out and, you know, melt.
No, I mean, I'm sitting there and I'm going, okay, so there are going to be people who want to go out and hear metal. There are going to be people who want to go out and just, you know, trance out to EDM, whatever, dance, you know, hang out, vibe, whatever. But for everybody else, you can't kind of sort of just go along with either of those genres. You know, it's like if you walk into a bar and you have somebody who's playing like classic rock versus alt rock versus hard rock versus, you know, whatever, you could be like, all right, you know, close enough. But if you want to hear what Trick Shot does, and then you walk in and somebody's playing either metal or EDM, that is not your vibe. Like, it's not going to happen. So, I mean, like, so it really then must be, a relief for people who want to just go out and dance and have a good time to this kind of music.
Yeah.
That you guys exist now. That's very cool. Yeah, that's very cool.
Yeah. And our target market is very deliberately aimed at the people, either the parents who've been through the parenting and are out the other side and want to do more than just go out, have tea, and go home.
Right.
Or people who love the music. There's people, younger people that love the music and the genre and what we're trying to do. So, and I think it's not so much they're ashamed of loving what they love, but I don't think they have the space to love it in. Have the love in at almost. Yeah. And we play with we just love it. Oh my God, I just love it. I'm talking about it. I love everything about it. I can't help it.
No, but you're right though, like because our kids are younger and I don't know if it's because of TikTok or what, but YouTube, they know stuff that I grew up listening to. And I'm like, how do you know that? And they're like, oh, it was on a TikTok, or I saw it on it was playing in the background of a YouTube video. I mean, there was that famous thing. I don't know if it hit Australia, but some dude was like drinking a Snapple on a skateboard or something. And he was playing, I want to say Dreams by Fleetwood Mac. And like everybody who was under 30 was like, oh, this new song is great. And all of us, old fuckers were like, this new what now? Like this song is older than Jesus, like this has been around, but they just didn't know. And it blew Fleetwood Mac back up to the top of the charts, like, 40, 50 years after the album had come out. And it was like, holy shit. So there is a market for this. Absolutely. Because nobody has done 80s since 80s. They just it was a time capsule, and so really was. And I mean mostly the people who are doing 80s stuff now are doing covers, at least that I'm aware of. I don't hear what you guys are doing in original music now. I don't. And I mean, maybe it's out there and I just haven't heard it, but it's not popular enough that I'm aware of it anyway. So I mean, it's a nice niche, it really is, to be able to evoke something that has so much nostalgia and such a huge fan base, but not get up on stage, like the Crypt Keeper, where you're just dragging out something that, that was written before any of the people who were even in the venue were born, or their parents were even, you know what I mean? So like, it's a very cool spot that you've carved out. And again, I think that because what you do is a passion for this kind of music and the feel and the emotion of this music, that's always going to resonate with people. Because I know that I've been charmed by bands, going out to see bands play live, where it wasn't even necessarily my genre or music that I would want to listen to or did listen to or whatever, but they just were loving what they were doing so much that it was infectious, and like that's a powerful thing, because it reminds people why they listen to music in the first place. Even maybe not anymore, maybe it's more of a catharsis or whatever, but when they were kids, at least, there was just like, this is just something that makes me happy. This is just something that makes me dance, and you guys are super upfront about that. It's all over everything that you write about yourselves and your band, that, our goal is to make you have a good time and get up and shake your ass and smile and just forget about everything for a while. And it really does do that. So, I mean, I wish I could come and see you guys live, but unfortunately,
I will get over there.
You're a little far. Yeah, when you do, let me know. If you get near New York, let me know. But done. So I mean, okay, we've covered a lot of ground. So just before we wrap it up, I just want to frame everything up for everybody. So, Trick Shot, brand new band, just this year. They have the EP out, which you can. Am I allowed to say where people can find it, or you don't?
Yeah, go on.
It's out
there.
All right. So the EP. All right. I won't say where, but if you really want to know, and you are smart about Googling a band name and a song title, you'll find it. But and I know, like, Rob's like, I'm just going to DM her later, and but so that EP came out in February. They've got Magic Bullet is coming. Do we know when?
November is the latest we have. I think the single's coming out 15th of September. There's a talk of doing one more single, then album, or straight to album. We're just not sure, but I think it's either going to be October or November.
Right. So guys, so you heard that tomorrow comes the single. Okay. So you got a sneak peek here with this tonight. And then so hopefully November. And again, it's not that anybody's cheesing off. They're signed artists now. They have to work with the label. That's it. They're at the whim of the label. So but it is coming. Hopefully by the end of this year. Okay. Yeah. And then in the meantime, there's a lot of stuff on YouTube. There's a lot of stuff on Facebook. You guys can get your fix. You go to Spotify, you can hear the newest songs. It's all out there for you. And the website's got it all consolidated. So, but really, seriously, this band is not loved enough. And I'm calling on my bandits. I want everybody to go Trick Shot Official. Okay. Just go and love them up temporarily spelled wrong. But that's just, it's, you know what? It's the human element. As Ian said, it's not spelled wrong, Dave. It's just the human element. That's it. I'm going to use that. When I burned it now, I'm going to be like, guys, it's the fucking human element. Eat it, So that's it. That's going to be my excuse for everything now. But so, and really just help that page out, because you all, know what it's like to build a page from the beginning. To have to rebuild a page is especially, because most people think they're already following you. So help them out. And keep an eye out for the album coming. But okay, Dave, Ian, it brings me to the end of every episode here, a little segment we call In the Vox Seat. I'm going to ask you the same 5 questions that I have asked everyone who's been on this show. And I would ordinarily say that you're going to hate at least one of them, because everybody does. But I don't think you guys hate much of anything, except maybe being asked on Tuesday instead of Wednesday about something. But otherwise, I think so. You guys may just enjoy these. But so, and I think this is. Oh, say it.
And that's the fact that my phone is about to die.
Oh no!
So I can plug it in and then go back to it.
Yeah, get your charger. Hell yeah.
We'll do it secret. We'll do it. What's that show where you get Family Feud, where he doesn't know what I've said?
Okay,
now, while
Dave.
he's doing that, I really have to say
top 5 answers on the board. Here are the questions. Name
but before
something.
He comes back, I really want to say something, Christina, and I've said it in the group, and I'll say it live here in Spaces, that you do the most amazing job I've ever seen of any supporter of any group of people that I'm mid-40s, 47, 48 this year, but I've not seen anyone get off their bum and do as much as you. It's been refreshing, and it's been brilliant at the same time.
Thank you so much.
And the fact that I just stumbled upon you, the original Trick Shot page went in at about number 200 to 400 of supporters. And to see it grow and to explode, everyone really have everyone's back. I know you had a little bit of a thing about people not following lately, but hopefully it comes back online as strong as it did in the beginning. But man, there's been so many people benefited from what you've done, and I personally,
that's very sweet,
from the bottom of my heart, would like to thank you in real time, because really a lot of people have so much to be thankful for what you've done.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, first of all, I always have to throw Greg into it, because without him, I have nothing. Just tech-wise or any other ways. But that's really sweet of you. Again, I have to punt that, though, to the Band Together community, the people in it, because, I could organize whatever, but if these people were not so incredibly generous and kind and supportive and wonderful, it wouldn't have gone anywhere, and I just, I see myself as just somebody who's consolidated efforts. But the real work gets done by the people in this indie music community. It's the best community I've ever been a part of. I really and again, to have people watching right now who, have spent 2 hours, and then another 2 hours twice a week. And, some of these episodes now are creeping towards 3 hours, and they're there every time if they can be. And if they can't, they listen or they watch back later. And it's just, I'm honored every time. I really am. I don't take any of it for granted. But what you said is really sweet, and I really appreciate that. And I'm gonna extend that to everyone who's watching because they're
Oh,
the real
group
MVPs,
effort.
but I do appreciate
Yeah.
that. I really
It's
do.
definitely a group effort. And just to finalize that, in the industry sense, this has been like an antithesis to the major players. You know, this has allowed people the spaces to breathe and to go, okay, there's more people like me out there. I don't have to give up or think I'm alone.
Yes.
And that's been really cool too.
It is. And I think that, it's even just for us as a cover band online, so many of the cover band musicians that we used to spend time talking to, whether, online or in the scene locally, would basically be like, if you're only online, you're not a real band because you're not playing for people and you're not whatever. And so to connect to all of these musicians who, some of whom are the whole band by themselves, because nobody lives within, 100 miles of them that can do this, and they don't necessarily want to collaborate online or whatever. It's so nice to have it validated, all of the different things that music can be and all of the different ways that music can get made and shared and played and heard and all of that. It's not just any one thing. And that's, I think, that's just, it takes something that can be very isolating and very lonely, and it makes you realize, as you said, you're not the only one. You're not alone in that. So yeah. Okay. So the first question is for each of you: if you have to describe Trick Shot's music in 5 words or less, what do you say?
Face melting, 80s melodic rock.
I like that. Face melting 80s melodic rock. I like that. And I do not disagree. Okay. Dave, you're the one, Ian did that faster than you. So let's just
very impressive. Very impressive. To make you feel alive.
Look at you, a phrase and everything. I like that. I like that very. Ian likes it so much that he froze. Look at Ian. And he's coming back. And there he is.
There he is.
Did you hear what Dave said, Ian?
No. Go nuts.
To make you feel alive.
I like it.
See, I love it. Very poetic. Okay, did not stumble either of you on that one. Okay, your favorite thing about being a musician?
So many, but the favorite thing I think is to bring joy through what you find joyful in others.
Yeah. Yep.
No. You have to get your own answer. You can't just You have to come up with your own. You can't do that.
Well,
I'm not letting
you. Drugs, but I could get drugs as
well. Ian. I'm crossing my arms at you, Ian, bad boy.
You got the mum look.
Yeah. Okay, so what is your favorite thing?
Well, my favorite thing would definitely be, I mean, it's a bit big-headed of me, but having people come up to me and say things like, do you teach? Or can you show me how you did that? Or
Yeah.
Because I can't do that, which, I mean, it's lovely to hear.
I don't think that's big-headed. I think that, look, all artists of any kind need affirmation, right? I mean, I know people will say, oh, you make the music for you, or you make the art for you, or you write the stories for you, or whatever, and you do. But I don't know many people who don't need to hear at least one person say that they were touched by something, or they were moved by something, or they were wowed by something. So that's that specific kind of validation, not just like, wow, you guys sounded great, but can you help me learn to do what you do? I think that I would go in for that if anybody ever actually said that to me. I would probably quote that as my favorite thing. So I totally understand that. Okay, so hey, if you ever get a bunch of free time, you can start doing lessons, for a few people. So okay, so and in that way, you both kind of are talking about connection, really. So that works for me. But okay. Flip side, your least favorite thing about being a musician?
Packing up. I fucking hate packing up. Nothing worse than rolling up leads.
Oh yeah.
Putting away, putting in the car, getting home, unloading.
I'll tell you, that's one of the best things about being a remote band is we just walk into another room and we're here. It's the trade-off for not having a live audience. So, but yeah, the load in, load out, set up breakdown thing, especially among drummers, that's a common refrain.
Oh yeah.
So yeah. Okay. All right, Dave. What is it? What chaps your beans?
What chaps my beans about the
That's
music?
an Australian phrase. You just didn't know it yet. Chaps your beans?
Ours is grind your gears. So.
No. Now it's going to be chaps your beans. I'm going to give that. I'm a trendsetter now.
Chaps my beans?
What chaps your beans?
It's the silo stuff, It's like I expect you to come and see my band, but I won't go see your band. Or thanks for the gig, and then it's crickets. No, they never give you a gig back for the gigs you give out. Mm-hmm. That grinds my gears.
Yeah, chaps your beans. That's right. Yeah.
Yes.
No, I get that though, because it is, especially for you guys, that must be frustrating because your music by nature is generous, right? Like what you are as a band by nature is generous. Yeah. That the whole reason you do what you do is to, as you said, give people joy, through what brings you joy and all of that. And so and that's even as wonderful as this indie community is, there is definitely a faction of it that isn't really, I don't consider part of the community, where they will use other people's support, but they will never give it back. Or they'll follow and then unfollow, or they'll yeah. I mean,
go cook some
really,
toast or something.
That's it. It really, and it we always find out, people. We always do. Yeah. And we don't like you as much. So
it's true.
That's the fact. No. So yeah, I mean that's and I think that for a while I thought maybe that was just something that was a cover band thing, because when you play other people's music and there's only so much of that to go around, it's kind of like, well, if we're all doing the same thing and kind of playing the same things, then there's an inherent competition. But I wouldn't have necessarily expected it among indie musicians, but it's everywhere. That's just the nature of the beast, I guess. So
universal truths.
Yeah. So, but not for Trick Shot. They're nicer than That's right. So, okay, now this one I'm interested, because we didn't talk too much about. I mean, obviously we have in terms of the music specifically that you guys make, but outside of that, we didn't talk too much about influences. But if you're going to hate a question, it's this one. If you had to choose just one album to listen to for the rest of your lives, just one, what album would you choose and why?
Power Slave for Iron Maiden.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's fairly easy for Ian.
That's where it started.
That's it? Okay. I had the feeling for you. Okay. All right. Back to Maiden. All right. Okay.
Similar reasons. Born to Run.
Okay.
Because that was like, the time of my life when I was really, really bummed out, that was the album with all the hope in it that put me on the path I was on now.
Okay.
Like if I'd say the genesis point for me to be who I was, it was Born to Run when I first heard that whole album go to work.
Okay. So it's funny. I thought you might go with Bon Jovi, given what you said.
Look, I could, but
Springsteen
different reasons I could say Bon Jovi, because it was the first album I bought for myself. But for a human touch, well, hang on, for a human touch, it has to be Born to Run every day of the week.
Okay. Look at that. I can't stump these two. They're right there with the answers. Right there. Maybe this is the one. Okay. Right. This is the lightning rod. This is the question that will make or break fans for you. That people will throw things and cry and scream over. It has become a focal point of the show, which I don't know what that says about this show, but it is as it is. But this is the question. This is the last question. We began with intensity. We end with intensity. That's the bookend of this show. Here we go. Your toilet paper roll. When you put the toilet paper on the little holder, does the toilet paper sit over the top, or do you pull it out from under the bottom, and why?
Well,
from the front.
So you're an
Oh,
over the
always-
top, Ian. You're
Yeah,
over the
over the
top.
top,
Okay, beard, not mullet. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, my personal choice is mullet, but I don't get to exercise that choice at home very often because I'm outruled on the toilet paper arranging.
Okay, Dave, you have just made Dom from Jam Steak insanely happy. Okay, Dom is doing a little dance in the chat because I think out of now the 28-ish interviews that we've done on this show, I think 3 or 4 of the, is it 4, honey? I think 3 or 4 people only have said under. Okay. Dom was the first one. And unfortunately for you, Freaky Things hates you and your band and will never support anything that you do because Freaky in every single chat, and I know he just did it in this one, before this, as I'm starting to ask this question, will go, don't do it. Don't do it. And you did it. You said under. However, Freaky, if I may make an appeal so that you can continue to listen to Trick Shot, he does use it over. Okay. It's not his preference, but he does use it over. So maybe, and Ian is an over. So, you know, you can't penalize the whole bit. There you go. But you made Dom very happy, which I know is your whole goal. And it's part of your whole ethos, isn't it? Trick Shot just makes people happy. Whether it's with music or toilet paper, you can't help yourself. So, okay, so we have another. I don't know how we count. I think we got to count that as an under. I think we got to go with the preference and not the.
Yeah,
and not
no, my preference under.
Okay,
yeah.
All right. Yeah. Look at that. The numbers very slowly, not even remotely catching up, but there we go. We'll take it. So.
Now I know why the toilet rolls change at our house every time you sleep over. You must be changing the toilet rolls
with toilet fairies because I don't touch
yeah. I know now.
Way, man.
Thank you, Christina. Thank you. Now I know.
Toilet fairies. There you go. I'm going to have a nightmare about toilet fairies tonight. I can just tell. So thanks for that little nugget there. No pun intended. But Dave, Ian, you guys, I knew we were going to have fun. I really did. I love you both to pieces. You are just such good people. You make music that makes people just happy. And that, as I said, we need a lot more of that. And I'm so glad that you came on this show. And thank you, Dave, for everything that you said, all your kind words. And you know, I really, I do hope, guys, you know, again, they need help rebuilding this page. Okay. Because especially with a new album coming out in a couple of months, we all know you want as many people to hear your music as possible. So, you know, get on Spotify, go follow them, go follow the Facebook page, like them, all of that, go sub to their YouTube, you know, and keep an ear out. You know, tomorrow you got the sneak peek, but it comes out. So love it up tomorrow. We got the night.
Yeah.
And then keep eyes peeled for Magic Bullet in November. Guys, thank you so much for coming on this show and hanging out.
Thank you for having us.
All right. Guys, that's it. That's another Vox and Guest. We will see you next time. Bye.
Rock and roll.